Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Daily Combat Podcast. It is the double biceps for Hollywood, Matt Connolly. It's in the contract, a legal requirement. Every single time we appear on camera, the co-host, co-founder, co-breather of air, co-wearer of clothes in this very room, it is, in fact, the master of disaster, the king of sting, the Count of Monte Cristo. It is Thunderlips, the ultimate male. It is the winner of the Dave Stockbridge of the Year Award. It is, in fact, Dave Stockbridge. Welcome to your own show, sir.
Oh, well, thank you very much for that very warm introduction. As always, Hollywood Matt Connolly, on point with the introduction, on point with the double bicep. Is there anything you can't do?
I'm glad that I'm wearing this shirt because it does help with the double bicep power.
It does. I think whenever you're imbued with some Sambo power, everything gets better.
Yes, that's right. It's like 300% more bicep.
Indeed. That's why the Russians are so strong. I think it's primarily the T-shirts. And joining us today, we've got two guests, so two ladies of the Sambo world that are here to share with us some of their story and some of what's going on in the Sambo world right now. So I'm going to do my best to get these names absolutely spot on. Okay, so we got Alli Timoteeva.
Yeah.
Did I say it right?
Yep.
Pretty good. Okay, excellent. And Marina Filippova.
Perfect.
Wonderful. So ladies, welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for coming in and sharing a little bit about what's going on in the world of Sambo right now. But before we get too much into it, I do understand that there is a big Sambo event taking place this weekend at Salisbury. Is that right?
It's Mawson Lakes.
Mawson Lakes, even better. So you can park your car safely, knowing it's likely to be there when you come back. So Mawson Lakes, and so tell us a little bit about that event.
So the Sambo event will take place on Saturday the 25th. It's going to be on volleyball courts of Volleyball SA at Mawson Lakes. Mm-hmm. The place is just beautiful with lots of cafes around, with beautiful park nearby. Mm. And the event is Beach Sambo. Yeah. Which requires sand, obviously, because of the beach. Yeah. So we found that sport as one of the best sports to have the Beach Sambo event here. Mm. So that will be one of a kind and first ever championship in Sambo. So championship will be the part of Beach Sambo Day, which we're organizing. So it's Beach Sambo Day. This is a family-friendly event, but championship in Beach Sambo gonna take place on the day. Uh-huh. So that's an opportunity for, let's say, the whole family to come together, have a bit of practice,
wrestle each other,
yep. Get covered in sand, get a bit of fun on bouncing castle, get a fairy floors for kids, get a popcorn, so like what else you need.
It's fantastic.
To spend your Saturday.
This is like a Sambo carnival more than anything else. It's like a festival of Sambo.
Yeah. We probably can think about the name for the next time. Like for today, it's like just Beach Sambo Day.
I love it.
So it's 10 to 1 at Mawson Lakes. It's volleyball courts of Mawson Lakes. Yeah. It's actually on maps, on Google Maps, it's called Mawson Lakes Beach.
Mawson Lakes Beach,
Lakes Beach,
which I think's just next to Mabara Park, which is the main little park in that part of the world. So anybody familiar with the Christmas carols at Mawson Lakes, they would know exactly where to go for Beach Sambo. Yep. So it's right next door. You got the playgrounds there. Really family-friendly location, lots of big open spaces as well. You can let the kids go wild whilst, mum and dad go wild in the Beach Sambo maybe. I don't know.
Absolutely.
But so how is Sambo going in South Australia right now?
I just want to mention that it's a free event.
Okay.
So, but the athletes, they obviously need to register beforehand. If someone is keen to participate and try themselves, they can register. Mm-hmm. Like it's very cheap. We'll try to keep it as low as possible, $25. That's nothing.
Yeah. And so if Matt wanted to turn up and have a go,
$500 for me.
Yeah, but you've already got the T-shirt.
Yeah, so I've already won.
We can make it 15 for you.
Oh, great! Nice. It's just because you want to see someone throw me on my head.
So it's like it's $25. Members of the public are welcome to come and try their luck, see what it's all about, and demonstrations during the day and
demonstrations,
tuition,
presentation bouts, masters. We will have the Sambo champion, the Sambo national champion 2022, coming over from Cairns. Wow. He was the one representing Australia at the World Championships in Bishkek in Kyrgyzstan last year.
Wow!
So he had a pretty good result back then. Yeah. So he's very excited. He's and his team from Cairns, they're flying over to try their best. Because the main prize is the trip to Dominican Republic.
Oh,
So
really?
It's a paid trip. So the national champion is in Beach Sambo. He got the trip paid to go to the World Championship in Beach Sambo. It's going to be held in September.
Yeah.
In Dominican Republic.
So this is like a qualifying event. So in some respects,
there will be part of it will be a qualifying event.
so if you do really well here, then potentially off you go to the next level. So that's at the Dominican Republic.
Yes, in September.
Is that like the World Championships? Is it in
Yeah,
Dominican?
that's the World Championship
wow.
in September in Beach Sambo.
That's way better than the Russian beaches I was expecting it to be on.
a little bit more dangerous at this time.
Yeah. Awesome. And so an event like this obviously takes a lot of organising, a lot of time, a lot of commitment by usually a few people. Well done to the Sambo Association and in South Australia for putting together such a great event that is of this standard that anybody can pop along and enjoy and get a taste of Sambo.
Yes, we will try to do our best for the event to be the best possible, like considering the small team we have, but we would like everyone to have fun and enjoy the day and learn more about Sambo because it's not really popular, especially in South Australia, which is a bit upsetting, like considering that us as head federation, we are here in South Australia. So the South Australia, unfortunately, is the state we have to work the most and put the most effort in terms of development.
So the National Federation is based here in South Australia, is that right? Okay. Yes. Very interesting. And what's your role within that? You're explaining a little bit off air, but you're the CEO, is that correct?
Yeah. I'm the CEO, pretty much. I'm the one.
So you're like the Dana White of Sambo, is that right? Is it kind of what's going on
here? You heard it first.
I pretty much started the organization.
Okay.
So we started it from the very, very beginning. So there was Sambo Federation before we appeared in Adelaide. So it's all started in 2019. We've been approached by the International Sambo Federation and we've been asked to participate in it was called Sports Festival down at Gold Coast. And they had Sambo as a part of their beach sports representation. So we traveled there, had a beautiful presentation there. There were representatives of Olympic Committee there. Yeah. So we did pretty well. And then we've been approached with suggestion to start developing Sambo.
Wonderful.
That's how it all started. There was a federation of Sambo before that, but it doesn't seem that they progressed too much in this sport and in the development.
Yeah.
So we are pretty consistent with attending World Championships, securing the funding from our federation to pay trips for athletes to travel because it's quite pricey, you know, like you can't pay for the trainings, for your gear, for everything, work full time and then just pay $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 just to travel for international championships. So we try our best to help athletes to travel to the championships and support them in that way. Wow. So that's one of my roles as well. So we're looking after the people.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so you're saying that you're not an athlete yourself. So how is it that you got involved into the sport and elevated into such a position?
Let's say I'm not an athlete in combat sports, but I've since I'm from Russia, Sambo was always around me. Like you can hardly meet a person who doesn't know what is Sambo. Everybody knows. And currently, actually, good news, Sambo has been included into the school curriculum.
Wow.
At some of the schools that going to be, Sambo will be part of their PE lessons.
Oh, wow.
So there are 3 or 4 PE lessons, practice in schools. So Sambo will be part of it. So at least 1 or 2 lessons during the week. And depending on the school and their specialities, they probably can have more or less lessons there.
Yeah. So the people that don't know what Sambo is, basically you're looking at something that is a variation of sort of judo, but with striking. You've got a point system with takedowns, with different punches that are landing. That's sort of the gist that you're looking at for Sambo? So
we have 3 main types of Sambo. First one is Beach Sambo. The event going to happen on 25th of Saturday. So it's a very quick, efficient, 3 minutes. Whoever touches the ground first with something else rather than their feet loses.
Wow.
So it's quick. There are certain techniques which are prohibited. There are certain score tables. So it's quick, very efficient, very effective, and pretty easy. There is sports sambo, which is an Olympic sport. It's been included, like the International Federation, been included into the list of Olympic sports. So it can potentially participate in 2032 Brisbane Olympic Games. So it's very similar. I would say it's got its parts from judo.
It's more technical, a bit more technical than
it's more
beach
technical.
sambo. Has different moves like.
Yeah,
So you've got the jacket sort of thing,
We've
but
got
then
jackets,
shorts.
but then shorts.
Right, yeah.
Yes, which sometimes...
I like any sport with shorts.
Especially on the beach.
And they're pretty short and tight.
Ooh.
Some guys, when they come to the training, hey guys, we need a bigger size of shorts. Like, no guys, that's how you wear it. Tight as.
This is a spectator sport.
Exactly. So, but then since it's originated in 1920s in Russia, and Sambo actually comes from Russian, stands for self-defense without weapon.
Right.
So it's unarmed techniques for self-defense. That's why they kind of combined and they got all the most efficient techniques into one sport. And eventually it grew into the sport, which is Olympic sport, with its international federation, with its accreditations, with international level coaches, with referees and coaches, courses which are accredited and at a very high level. So it's made its way from the very, very military sport into the... it's actually been a secret technique of a Soviet army for a very long time. And just after perestroika, it has changed into the sport which can everybody access.
Yeah.
And then there is combat sport, combat sambo, which is very similar to MMA, but you're wearing the protection. So you're wearing helmet, groin pad, shin pads, and again, you're wearing the jacket and the shorts.
Yeah.
Gloves.
So, and the gloves, yes. So which gives you a little bit a wide opportunity for the techniques, like in terms of MMA, but also makes you more approachable, let's say.
Yeah. So you've got submissions and
Yes.
groundwork and everything
Yep.
in sambo as well.
In combat
sport.
sambo, yes.
Is sambo a little like beach volleyball in that it's the beach variety that's the more popular now, or is that
No, I would
No.
say
The short shorts.
I was going to say, is the shorts playing a factor, or is that the...
just on the shorts. I know. I think the set of rules is different, so it's different rule set, like in the scoring system as well.
Okay. Is it designed to be a quicker, easier to watch version of the sport, the beach sambo?
The beach sambo, yes.
Okay.
Yes, and for those, let's say it's very much developed in Africa, where the nations, they can't afford to have a gym, and they don't really need to have a gym because they have lots of sand and they can practice there.
Yeah.
So that's why. Another way of practicing sambo, it's a sambo for visually impaired people. So it's part of Paralympics.
Right.
There is the whole curriculum where visually impaired, like there are championships happening, world championships for visually impaired people. So it's like the whole huge system of sport, of like management of sport, and the rule sets, the techniques, the regulations which are behind just the word sambo. That's a lot of work, a lot of experience, lots of specialists been working on that.
Yeah.
I do like the idea of with the beach sambo that it's just whoever hits the ground first. I love that. That's awesome.
It's like the 2020 of sambo.
Yeah, that's cool. What you said there were some techniques that were restricted in beach sambo. Is there striking in that, or is just
There's no
it's
striking
There
in beach
is-
sambo.
Right, yeah,
So
of course.
combat sambo is the only one that has striking in it. You can't strike in sports sambo or beach sambo.
right? So it's you're grabbing somebody, you're trying to trip them, you're trying to use wrestling
basically.
and that
Submissions, hold downs, everything like
sort of thing.
that.
You can still submit in beach sambo.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah. Well, I like the idea that it's like whoever
Touches the floor,
Yeah, it's and I've seen so many matches where without I haven't watched beach sambo, but with judo where people are just about to hit the mat and then they twist their
Yes.
twist at the last second and the other guy hits it.
Because in sambo, if you land on your back, that's 4 points. You've
Right.
lost. So, and if you twist and you land on your side, that's 1 point. Yeah, so you still have a chance.
You can come back from that. Yeah. It seems really interesting to me because from what I understand, Sambo is kind of born out of the old Soviet military, and so you've got and so as a result, it's kind of permeated the culture because of compulsory conscription in the Soviet army, for instance. There's, you've got generations of men that have kind of worked through that system that have been learning this secret martial art that somehow everybody in Russia now knows. But it's kind of generated. But here we have, two women here today who are proponents of the sport and talking about it. So how is it you as a young woman's become involved, and how do you feel with the cultural connection and what it means to you to be a Sambo athlete in the modern age?
I mean, I really like doing Sambo because it gives a lot of opportunities for girls. Like, there's not as much competition, so
Mum's working on it.
As much competition. It's really great not only for your physical health but also for your mental health. Like, it builds strong willpower. Like, you just become, like, if you're depressed or something, you can just go to the gym, like, take it out on someone, like, instead of, like, having to, like, keep your thoughts inside your head. It's, like, good to take out your emotions, and, like, it's good to express yourself as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So getting that chance to physically express yourself, get rid of some of that negative emotion, and sometimes just doing something physically is enough to
get your head
help.
off of, like, whatever's going on.
Yeah. And so did you find your way through to the sport via mum's influence, or how did it come about for you?
Through my dad. Well,
yeah,
I have a background in real Aikido, and
Okay.
I've only started doing Sambo like 5 years ago. So since I was 4, I was doing real Aikido, which is a Serbian variation of Aikido.
Uh-huh.
The difference between Serbian and Japanese Aikido is just like
More alcohol.
I'd say it's more fast paced.
Yep.
And
You have to dance at the end.
That's great.
Oh,
Yeah.
do you?
No.
Oh, I was going to say that'd be great.
yeah, it's more fast paced, more like full on, whereas Aikido focuses more like on spirituality and like your mind and your body.
Yeah.
But
She got a bit of hate from Aikido people.
Really?
Oh,
I mean,
because
saying that, she probably acquired some hate.
Well, they can bring their
I'll just
Aikido
say
and get thrown on their head.
it's more rough.
it is. And,
Yeah.
And so you already had a bit of a martial arts background. So how did that help you when you transitioned, or do you still dabble in both?
I sometimes do both. I would say that if you think of it as Aikido, more self-defense, and then Sambo, more like being the attack sport.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it just kind of helps to know, like, a lot of range of sports, like, in martial arts. Say if you're, like, playing a musical instrument, it's good to know more than 2 because you can, like, have the whole range, and you can, like, it opens up, like, a different perspective on it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, yeah, self-defense, and then, like, attack as well.
Yeah,
it's
so
not
you've been able
just to like defend yourself, but you can also like attack people.
Yeah.
Does it build your
It's good to attack. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it build your self-confidence now,
Yeah.
like that you feel if you're in a position where, you might be in danger, or it's like, I think I'm okay. I think I can handle myself to a level where I could either, get away or control the situation. So, it's one of those things, isn't it? You find people that have that ability, that they're usually like very humble. They don't need to prove anything because it's like they're getting humbled in the gym all the time.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't need to go out and cause problems and to try to show the world that I'm a tough guy. It's like, I know that I'm getting destroyed, but so you'll build that sort of self-confidence that comes from that. Yeah.
And how does that make you feel as a parent, having the martial art help empower, I guess, your daughter and feel confident in the real world?
As I started, I was always around sports, like always and everywhere. I was doing gymnastics, athletics, and then Sambo was always like just somewhere nearby.
Yeah.
I love her doing sports, and I love her doing combat sport. And I love her doing Sambo because it's a competitive sport. So that's why we made a switch from real Aikido to Sambo. Because in Aikido, you can't compete. You can't benchmark yourself against others.
Yeah.
Sorry. So in Sambo, that's, first of all, lots of opportunities. So that's a huge, big organization, lots of support. So that's international level coaches, international level trainings, international workshops, seminars, youth cadets workshops somewhere where you can travel the world, make new friends. with her involvement in Sambo, like just recent experience, that started with COVID. There is a World Youth Festival, which we started to participate during COVID when we couldn't train. That was the way for us to engage everyone. So that's a virtual youth festival, united through sports.
Bringing different people from different sport backgrounds together and talking about why sport is important for youth and how it can help you in life.
So back then in 2021, out of 3,600 something participants in a virtual competition. So what is virtual competition? People usually confuse, like, what is virtual competition? It's pretty much the few categories. So her category was max fit. Certain number of exercises. You perform the exercises, record yourself in a time limit. In a time limit, record yourself and send to the judges committee. So they look at it and they set you, like they rank you. So she got, she got bronze out of 3,650 something participants.
Wow, congratulations.
Amazing. What tasks did you have to do in that?
Well, since it's like not just Sambo, it's like all the sports. It's like swimming, I don't know, basketball, like football. They tried to choose activities that would sort of like range in different like muscles and like all of that. So there was
fitness, some fitness exercises.
Yeah, there's some
pull-ups, push-ups,
cardio.
jumps, cardio.
All right. So it was a whole range of things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
So after that, she got the opportunity to travel to Bangkok as Sambo ambassador. So she represents sport of Sambo. She won in this category. So she got the trip paid from the federation to travel to Bangkok to meet all other ambassadors. So there was a huge festival. It's like face-to-face this year, like last year, not this year.
Last year, November.
Yeah, can you? You probably can expand better on that.
Well, they just wanted to bring people together and to give motivation and faith to kids that together we are stronger than we by ourselves. And they just wanted to show that we're all human, like we're all like, we might be like different, but like sport brings us together. And that's just kind of what the whole point was, to give us motivation and to have like faith in ourselves.
Amazing. What a great idea for a festival.
Yeah, and having Sambo part of it, because sometimes, you know, Sambo has a bad name because it's a Russian sport, but it's actually not a Russian sport anymore. It's a worldwide sport. I would say Australia is the only country which has Sambo as the least popular.
Yeah, there's been recently a lot of positive change in like the way that Sambo is developing all around the world, especially in Asia. It's really good to see that it's not just Russian sport now, and like get rid of that bad name, you know?
Yeah. Well, I guess at the moment with, you know, the political climate being as it is, it's easy for people to go, oh, that's Russian, maybe put that aside. But it seems like, you know, it's one of these really interesting stories where you've got this martial art that's got real practical application. You know, one of the biggest army in the world at the time, you know, took it on and it became like a cultural institution in itself. And now born out of that, you know, perestroika and the last 30 or so years has now developed into this very well organised worldwide sport. So, and I say that because in, say, MMA, the UFC aren't running, you know, events like this, for instance, and taking, you know, kids and putting them on a plane and sending them to the other side of the world to be part of a festival. You're not seeing that happen in most of the disciplines that we talk to people about here on the podcast, but it's where it seems like the sports themselves are growing, but the infrastructure and the support system behind the sport isn't. Whereas with Sambo, it seems like that structure and support is very much in place, and now it's just waiting for more people to get involved. And it's
expanding the community of Sambo athletes.
Yeah. So and I think that's really interesting and a really unique opportunity for Sambo, because you guys are ready for growth, whereas all the other sports might be experiencing some of the growth, but they're not ready for it. You know, if they continue on that trajectory, it's just going to implode, unfortunately, for many of the sports. But it seems at an international level, your governing body has really given a lot of thought to how to grow the sport internationally.
Absolutely. There is a lot of social work behind this sport. So like lots of programs for disadvantaged families. There are lots of programs for people, like, let's say, in some countries, there are free programs when participants don't have to pay. Like, if they get under the certain category, they don't have to pay for their trainings. So lots of things which we try to bring here in Australia, which like we rely on their experience, and it's really positive. And we try to bring it here, and like we're working towards that. So we
understand here you help impoverished podcast hosts with their clothing and T-shirts for them. And I think it's really nice.
Exactly.
we just started with that.
That's where it all starts. That's the framework.
Yeah.
And as I said, like New South Wales, Queensland, they are the best developing states in Australia. They're rapidly growing, the number of athletes growing, interest consistent, and more athletes and more registration. So it's fantastic.
So does each state have a body that people, if they're interested in exploring more about Sambo, that they can go to and they can join in on club activities, that type of thing?
Yeah, we have the federative structure. So we are the head body, and each state, they have their own representatives, their state federation. So whoever is interested can approach their state body, and they will be directed to the club who's running the trainings. We so far have 6, within Australia, we have 6 international level coaches, which is, which I would say fantastic. We didn't have anyone last year, so we accredited them last year. So they passed all the we prepared them, and they graded. They've got their certificates, they've got their knowledge, they've got their experience. So
and the referees.
And the referees. So in South Australia, we have 12 accredited referees.
Incredible.
They're international level accredited.
Oh, right.
So it's not just the Mawson Lake Beach Sambo Championship. They can they can be.
It's interesting hearing that, and then because we do arm wrestling, obviously, and then hearing that you've got such a structured way to train officials and to have your accreditations given out.
Arm wrestling,
you don't see that in our sport. I can assure you.
Anything like that at all.
It's like $50 for educational session.
Yeah, we'll speak to you afterwards. Give me the whole plan.
So Ali, do you see like a career path for you, or a sporting pathway now that you can see yourself rising to the high standards of the sport?
Well, I hope that in future I would get the opportunity to participate in the Brisbane Olympics, as I see like a lot of development and more inclusivity. Like I see a lot more women trying out for Sambo. Like a lot of people say martial arts, fighting, like a masculine sport, but it's not really. It's like an everyone sport. So a lot of women are also joining Sambo. Recently we had Indigenous women compete in the World Championships, and she she had that opportunity because of Sambo. Wow. So it's pretty good.
Yeah.
To see a lot of women.
So we have native Australian competing for Australia at the World Championship. So that was last year.
Wow.
And she is such a great role model for her community. That's just amazing.
I think we've had a representative, Joe the Vanilla Gorilla Brown.
He
represented Australia, didn't he? At the Sambo Championships.
He did.
In Beirut.
Funny story about his experience over there. So everyone was like, when he first got there, before the competition had started, was giving him the death stares and intimidating. And then afterwards, as soon as the competition was finished, they were all real friendly and like,
because everybody was so stressed. I can tell. And that's the part of Sambo culture. So that's because it comes from military. There is a feeling of brotherhood. Like even at the training, there is so much respect and brotherhood between people. And Aliona,
just like connection, genuine human connection.
Yes, that's genuine human connection and willingness to help if you need some help, like whatever. Like even if it's outside the training, I can see students and like athletes, they connect on that social level as well. So they build lifetime connection. It's not just
meet friends that like will be your forever friends. Like some people that I've met at the youth festival, I still talk to them now. So it's great that like you just get all of this like opportunity to expand your social circle.
It's so important, isn't it, for youth or for anyone really that wants to go out and try something, especially now it's people are so busy, you know, they're working or they feel like they don't have time to go and do things. But if they go and experience like a community vibe where not only are they doing the sport and getting fit and healthy and learning skills, but they're meeting people there and relying on other people to keep them safe throughout techniques and, you know, building these awesome friendships. And it's like, that's, you feel like you're part of something. And you see that with a lot of clubs, like, you know, they really feel like, you know, we're the South Australian club and we all support each other and we all, you know, get along and try to help each other. And it's an awesome feeling to see that and see that in Sambo as well.
So when you tell other people that you're into Sambo, do you have like a go-to YouTube clip or something that you tell people like, go and have a look at this if you want to know about Sambo?
Is it a picture of Battleman Putin on that horse?
What is
Putin on the horse,
It's like, what is that?
I mean, there's an interview that I did in Bangkok, which was in November at the Youth Festival, of course. That was pretty much it.
Yeah.
I don't really have film footage of my competitions because, as I said, like, I don't really compete.
Yeah.
But there's footage of me doing the mixed martial arts competition here in Adelaide a couple of years back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was in 2 categories. I placed bronze in one of them and gold in the other. So,
and do you have like do you have somewhere where you might send people to learn a little bit more about the sport if they don't quite understand it? Like, is there like a video or a website where you can say, if you want to know a little bit more about Sambo, you can go here and check it all out?
Yeah, we do have a website. It's called Sambo Federation of South Australia, and we have the Australian one as well. So we have each state has their own, and then we have like a whole national website, and there's like a lot of information on it, posts and like images. We can go to
I just tell her like just throw them. That's it.
That's right. That's enough. Just there's your demonstration.
What's Sambo?
Right, that's what it is. Okay.
Oh, I see. Yeah. But I still don't understand.
And who are the superstars in the sport right now? Like, who's the Conor McGregor or the Ronda Rousey of Sambo? Is there some big names or guys and girls that are doing massive things at the moment on the international stage?
Islam Makhachev, like that's probably the name known to Australians.
Yeah,
like
UFC.
at the last UFC fight, like he did Sambo. He's FISO International Federation champion in Sambo.
Wow.
So
Didn't realise.
back a few years back, that's his basic true travel. His basic training was Sambo.
Yeah,
and then he progressed to other stages. So I would say Russian champions in UFC and MMA, they use Sambo as their base level training, and then they build up other skills for their MMA fights.
that's kind of what they've come across and they've learnt first.
Yeah.
And
So like Fyodor Yemelyanenko, like he's Sambist. He's the icon. He's the role model. He's the main representative. So he's Sambist.
yeah.
But he was still competing Sambo and wanting to compete in Sambo. This is one of the issues that he couldn't get signed with the contract disputes with the UFC was that he wanted to continue doing Sambo, and the UFC was like, "You're not going to be able to do that." Like, well, I'm not doing it. I'm not fighting for you guys then. But he was a big proponent for Sambo.
Yeah, the UFC is where I came across Sambo the first time, because a couple of the early competitors, I can't remember if it was Don Fry or it was one of those guys, but they were it always came up Sambo. I was like, what's Sambo? Like, when just making stuff up here, and it's like, oh, I've got to, and there was no internet then, so you couldn't go and check it out and go Sambo. It was like Sambo. We got to wait and see what it looks like.
Yeah.
So what is that?
I love the fact that like people would knock somebody out and then they'd be like jiu-jitsu.
Like that was you kind of used the right cross to knock him out.
Yeah. Probably boxing is what you mean.
And do you find that like MMA is that thing that like people are exposed to Sambo because of MMA, or is it that, you know, where do you kind of?
I would say that's one of the pathways for Sambo to develop.
Yeah.
As I believe MMA fighters, they can like cherry pick from Sambo, like and from the techniques of Sambo.
Yeah.
And that will bring like them lots of advantage in their fights.
Also has a lot of attention. Like a lot of people watch the UFC. It's not just like, because it's a range of sports in it, like not like a range of different martial arts, so it brings a lot of attention and like exposes other people to different types of sports they might not have heard of before.
It's almost like Sambo, like it was the original MMA
Yeah, I
in
was
some
gonna
respect.
say, yeah.
Oh, you were.
Well, it was. but you got there first.
No, you can say that. You like
It's almost like it was like the original. That was. It's probably the
thinking that.
closest thing, though, isn't it? To
Yeah.
mixed martial arts, you probably your next closest sport today is combat sambo.
Yep.
So
That's, I would say, for people who are not involved, it will look identical rather than like people wearing the uniform. That's it. So that will be the main difference for people not involved in the sport, like let's say for the general public.
And on the sporting side of things, what does the Sambo calendar look like? So, is there a national titles that leads to a regional that leads to the
Yes.
world titles? Is that how it works?
Yes, that's how it works.
That's
We
where you're
have-
going.
Yeah.
Yep, gotcha.
So we have state titles, we have national titles, and the national champion, they go to the international, to the world championships.
Mm-hmm.
We have at least 4 championships we need to participate during the year. So there are at least 4 events we take in Australian athletes to overseas competitions, which opens up lots of opportunities
Yeah.
for everyone who would like to be involved.
this Saturday is one of those, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
people do want to get a taste of Sambo. If they're thinking about jumping on and having some fun themselves, this will be a chance for them to have a go in a very casual, relaxed kind of environment, apart from, being thrown to the ground and that type of thing, potentially injured. But it's apart from the pain, it should be good. No, yeah.
We make sure the sand is soft.
Yeah, it is.
Soft and dry.
Yeah.
Is it a tournament structure, like a double elimination, or is it that if you lose, you're out sort of thing for this Saturday?
Yes, I think like we have brackets and like whoever wins who, like they progress to the next stage.
Like a tournament, yeah.
Yeah, like a tournament thing.
Yeah.
So is it one loss and that's it for you're out, or
Yep.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll give that a go then. That won't
I
last
like, I
long.
like how strictly you're like, yes,
Yes.
you're out.
Gone.
Don't get another go.
Never to appear in another Sambo competition
second
ever again.
chances.
That was your first and last chance at Sambo. That's it. You're not welcome back. We only want the strong.
It's not that tough.
No,
You will be fine.
you will be fine. You
Oh,
see. Yeah, well,
I've
I
been
think you're
thrown
going on Saturday.
around, but oh god,
There is a Masters category, you did say.
Yes, there
Yeah,
is.
so as long as you're over 40, you're okay for that one?
23.
23. That's fine. Just scraped in.
just
So if people do want to know more about Sambo, they can go to the website. So that was the one that you've got, the national website, which
Yeah,
is
if you just Google Sambo Australia, it will come up straight away.
Google Sambo Australia. You'll find out everything you need there.
Yeah.
And if you do want to connect with a local club, you can do that by just Sambo
Through the
Australia.
website as
Contacts
well.
on there.
Yeah, there are contacts there. Like we have all the information there, so
Oh.
they get in touch and like ask their questions,
Mhm.
whatever, and easy.
Yeah.
And with the event on 25th, it can be Googled as well, like 25th Beach Sambo,
Beach Sambo.
Day.
Beach Sambo Day, and you can register on the website as well. So if you're an athlete and
So it's done through Smooth Comp. So
Okay.
like it is for athletes, like they know, like everything is just described
yeah,
in the event description. So
fantastic.
it's pretty easy.
And if you're just a spectator, it's no cost. You can just turn up. You can enjoy the day,
Absolutely,
have fun
have fun.
at Mawson Lake Beach.
Mawson Lake Beach.
Beautiful. So, well, there you have it. So, if you're interested in Sambo, if you've never seen the sport before and you want to experience it firsthand, well, head out to Mawson Lakes on this Saturday, the 25th. And from what time?
10 a.m.
10 a.m. onwards, and just to enjoy the culture. If you don't want to be, thrown around or anything like that, you can just enjoy the culture and relax and have a great day with the Sambo crew and learn more about the sport. And if you're somebody that's watches the podcast and you're into MMA and that type of thing, and you haven't had much exposure to it, and maybe you're curious and want to have a go, well, you can register just by heading over to the website now and make sure that you know exactly what to do. So come the 25th.
could get a free trip to
Dominican Republic.
Dominican Republic.
Dominican Republic, it's on the
Try,
line.
man. I tell you.
Like you could try.
Well, thank you very much, Marina, and thank you very much, Ali, for coming all the way in here today and sharing a little bit about your Sambo journey and sharing so much about the sport and what's going on right now, and of course about the big event this Saturday. So thank you so much for coming out.
Thanks for having us.
Absolute pleasure.
That's great.
Oh, well, thank you very much, and thank you for joining us and listening as you do every week. If you're on the podcast and you're on the audio version, well, thanks for welcoming us into your car or into your earphones, wherever it may be. And of course, to those people that are watching on Facebook or on YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in every week, and we look forward to bringing you more next time. Maybe some double biceps.
Oh, just to finish off.
Here we go in the Sambo shirt. So these biceps are going to be.
Bicep right
here we go. Look at that. Look at that. I think there's a bigger pump. There's definitely a bigger pump. There was a different T-shirt before. It was nowhere near as impressive. Well, there you've had it, ladies and gentlemen. There's the double bicep, and that's your episode of the Daily Combat Podcast. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. All right.